Greetings to you. I'm Brother James Muhammad, a student in the ministry of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and your host for this week's segment of Closing the Gap broadcast. I want to welcome all of our regular participants, regular guests for tuning in this Saturday. As you always do, we welcome you, and we hope that there are some new participants to the show. We are blessed to be accompanied by a co-host who's not normally here. She's in the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network family, and she has a show in her own right. It's called Liberated Sisters. And with the absence of Brother Student Minister Chad and Sister Stala, I'm so thankful to Allah that we could call upon her from time to time to fill in. And we love to have her as a host here, my dear sister Charlene Muhammad. She is the national correspondent to the Final Call newspaper, I believe the greatest paper that has ever been published by the greatest publisher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I want to extend the love and greetings from our regular co-host, Student Minister Chad Muhammad. He will be with us next week. He's on a family outing, and of course, we need to be balanced.
That's right.
Also, our dear sister Stala Muhammad, who is with her family. And again, the need for balance is definitely prevalent. I'm the only one that ain't got nothing else to do. No. No, I just take the responsibility of being here as the co-host and CEO of the network. But for those of you who tune in every week, you know we always begin the broadcast in the name of Allah, with the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, the one God to whom all praise is due, the Lord of the worlds. We thank Almighty God Allah for his merciful and prophetic intervention in our affairs in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, and we thank him for raising up from our midst his messenger, Messiah, the exalted Christ, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, through whom we have been given our beloved and blessed Redeemer. I refer to him as my personal Savior. The man of whom I speak is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. In their names, my beloved brothers and sisters, our new and regular guests, we want to greet all of you with the greeting words of peace. We say it in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum, which simply means peace be unto you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another segment of Closing the Gap broadcast. In the realization of our historic, the history of Black people, we find that there are three things that our former slave masters vowed never to teach the slave. One of which was the science of mating. Another was the science of warfare. And most importantly, the science of business. Keeping that in mind, we're very happy to welcome to the broadcast our brother and sister, Sister Candy Lowe. I'm going to read her bio, but she is a longtime activist in the Bay Area, specifically and particularly in Tampa. She heads up the Black Bus or Black Business Bus Tour. I'm going to read her bio. And along with her, we have our dear brother, fellow student in the ministry, Student Minister Tyrone Muhammad. And he has a business. I'm going to read his bio as well. A business counseling, selling insurance and instruments of investment, I believe. Yes. But we'll read his bio as well. So we're going to get into this and offset and really, really heal what the enemy inflicted on us by keeping us ignorant to these particular aspects of civilization. That's right. So I'll start with my dear sister Candy. Mrs. Candy Lowe Jones is married to Darrell DJ Jones, mother of 2 and 3 grandsons. Mrs. Candy Lowe Jones has excelled as the founder of Black Business Bus Tour, or BBBT, in Tampa since 2006. Throughout the years, she's established a successful business as a way to raise awareness and promote African American owned Black businesses. Equally important, Ms. Lowe Jones wanted to establish partnerships, economic development, and longevity throughout the surrounding communities. BBBT notably offers tours to clients, linking them with established and up-and-coming businesses in the area and providing unique shopping experiences to all. The BBBT has visited hundreds of businesses and thousands of riders, from surrounding cities and states, also to include elected officials. A serial entrepreneur, Miss Lowe Jones, previously found success as the owner of a local tea shop in Tampa over 10 years. She also worked as a campaign manager, organizer, and branding guru for Candy Lowe Enterprises. Prior to establishing herself as a business owner, Ms. Lowe Jones was a licensed practical nurse for over 30 years and marketing director. Ms. Lowe Jones is the former founder of the Independent Black Chamber of Commerce and senior host of Tea and Conversations since 2004. The BBBT has been featured in multiple magazines throughout the state of Florida, as well as in USA Today and the Black Enterprise. Ms. Lowe has proudly accepted a City of Tampa commendation for the Black Business Bus Tour in 2019 and 2021. Highlighted in the Final Call newspaper. Let me say that again. Not that I am biased, but I am. Highlighted in the Final Call newspaper. National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, Passing the Torch Leadership Award for Business Economic 2019, New Upsilon Zeta Chapter Blue Light of Distinction Community Service Award for 2020, Hands of Hope Sickle Cell Awareness Foundation Humanitarian Award 2021, City and State Florida Above and Beyond Honoring Award in Tallahassee in 2023. Ms. Lowe Jones was presented with the Community Organizer Award from the George Edgecombe Bar Association, which she is most proud. And so we are in the midst of business and entrepreneurial royalty. So we thank Allah for you, Sister Candy. Assalamu alaikum once again, and welcome to Closing the Gap broadcast.
As-alaikum salam, brother.
Praise be to Allah. And of course, my longtime brother and friend, fellow student in the ministry of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm going to read his bio. Our dear brother Tyrone H. Muhammad was born in Brooklyn, and he's my homie.
Word.
Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1961. At 5 years of age, he moved out of the projects in Brownsville, right in East New York.
Word. You know what it is.
Yeah, I know what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to get hooded now, brother.
Right. That's right.
All right. He obtained an associate's degree in liberal arts from Broome Community College in Binghamton, New York in 1981. He followed up with a bachelor's degree in communications, radio, and television from the University of Texas at Arlington in 1983. After attending the unforgettable Million Man March on October 16, 1995, he visited Muhammad Mosque number 48 in Dallas, Texas. Brother Tyrone H. joined the Nation of Islam as a registered member on May 28, 2001. Soon thereafter, he courted MGT sister Wanda J. Muhammad and married her on November 3rd, 2001. Brother Tyrone H. was fascinated with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as taught today by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He entered the ministry class of Muhammad Mosque number 48 in 2002, where he studied until 2005 when given the post of Friday night study group coordinator. Brother Tyrone H. also served as the head of the Ministry of Information formed following the Millions More movement in 2005. Brother Tyrone H. also had the responsibility of serving as the mosque newspaper journalist for the Final Call AM radio in Dallas. Brother Tyrone H. was appointed student minister of Muhammad Mosque number 48 in 2014. He served dutifully until 2016. And Brother Tyrone H. moved his family to Tampa, for which we are exceedingly grateful and welcome our dear brother, and understand that this is the last move you will make. You will be here.
All praise to Allah.
All praises.
Good nap.
Mhm.
He moved his family to Tampa. Pardon the ad lib, but he moved his family to Tampa, Florida in September 2016. Brother Tyrone H. has been an avid student of finance and business economics for 20 years. His do-for-self enterprise, home-based business allows him to cash flow hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax savings and business earnings. Brother Tyrone H. is also a licensed life insurance agent for prominently known Prime America in the state of Florida. And Brother Tyrone H. currently is a business consultant for Muhammad Mosque number 47 in Tampa as we strive to build a ministry of trade and commerce. Last but certainly not least, Brother Tyrone H. assists student minister Chad Muhammad with the ministry at Muhammad Mosque number 47 in Tampa, Florida, and might I add, is doing a magnificent job, particularly on our Friday coordination of the Friday study group, self-improvement, the basis of community development. So welcome to the show, Brother Student Minister Tyrone. We are very happy to have you. I want to, though it's maybe a little out of the ordinary for a co-host, but I want you to get acquainted with my dear sister who has agreed to step in and fill in for Sister Starla Muhammad. They both work for the magnificent Final Call newspaper. But I want you to know a little bit about my sister too. So this is a bit out of the ordinary. We ordinarily don't talk about the history of our hosts, but I want you to get to know her. So tell us something about yourself, dear sister.
Yeah. Wife, mother, two. I'm a grandmother, or Grand Umi, as I like her to call me, Soraya. I'm based in Los Angeles. First of all, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, thank you, Student Minister James. I'm tremendously nervous, as I said, but pleasure to meet you all here. And I've been writing for the paper for the Final Call out of Los Angeles for, I think, 25 years now, it might be. And got into podcasting, really radio, FM radio podcasting through the Final Call. You know, someone introduced it to me and asked me to be a part, and I thought it was a good way to further promote the articles and the message in the Final Call. So that's why I took that on, and all of that landed me here at Closing the Gap on the network. But I'm just a Southern girl from Opelousas, Louisiana, and I love the dissemination and the distribution, rather, of the good news.
Yes.
You know,
Mhm.
yes.
All praises due to Allah. Well, thank you again for, on a short
I like to
notice,
skate.
as a matter of fact, agreeing to be a part of the show and co-hosting with your little brother. Thank you, dear sister.
Yes, sir.
Don't leave out the show that you host yourself.
That's right.
You have a broadcast in your own right.
Oh, that's
Tell
right.
us
And Brother
about
Sultan. That's right, Brother Sultan. Thank you, Brother James. I was just using comedy to kind of get my nerves together. I said I like to skate, but Closing the Gap has invited me, and I love to be on Closing the Gap. My podcast, Liberated Sisters, which also is going to return to air as well on Morris Media Studios. We had been on Pacifica for about 22 years as well, the Pacifica Network. And Brother Sultan is a co-host with me on the Thursday broadcast for Liberated Sisters on Closing the Gap, which will be resuming next week on Thursday, inshallah.
all praises.
Thank you for that.
All praises due to Allah. All right, well, let's get into it. I see our brother Tony Muhammad, a regular participant of this broadcast and supporter, and we're very thankful to Allah for that. He's posted this question, if I can put it up there. There it is. Question from our dear brother Tony Muhammad. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us business is warfare because somebody is vying for that dollar that you are vying for. So if they can outsmart you, if they can trick you, if they can give you an offer that you can't refuse, then they'll take your company from you because you don't have soldiers. And if you don't have any soldiers, you will never be successful in business. But we, the Nation of Islam, have soldiers. Can you both expound on this and the importance? Let me see, because it's cut off there. Can you expound on this? I don't see the rest of the question. Brother Tony, perhaps we couldn't fit it all in there. But at any rate, that which I have posed of your question, we're going to direct that to Sister Candy and to you, Student Minister Tyrone. But we defer to our sister first. Could you expound on his statement?
Yes, thank you for that question, Brother Tony Muhammad. Great question. One of the words that he has in there is trick. And I think that that is a powerful word of the enemy. And if you fall short of that word, if you give in to that word, if you don't build that fence around you, the enemy will always be there to destroy exactly what it is designed to do. I know that for me, with the Black Business Bus Tour starting out way back in 2006, there were a lot of enemies at that time as well. But I do know, Student Minister James, that being consistent and never giving up, no matter what the enemy throws, moving forward, never quitting, never looking back, you won't fall, you won't fail. I'm at almost 20 years of telling people to support Black-owned businesses in the Tampa Bay area, having people on motor coach buses going out spending with Black-owned businesses. In our city, I think that we are getting it more and more. And I think it's because we've been consistent. The tricks are there. They're not going to go away. But if we continue to do what we need to do as people, we can get through that.
That's
All
right.
praises due to Allah. Thank you for your response. And just a bit of a correction, Brother Tony. And Brother Tony is also a fellow student in the ministry of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, headquartered in Miami, Florida at mosque number, oh my God, what is the mosque number? Miami.
27.
27. All praises due to Allah.
20, is it 29, I believe?
29. That's right. I had a senior moment.
Sister Charlene is 27. Go ahead.
which I'm entitled to being a senior.
Mm-hmm.
All praises due to Allah. Just a bit of a correction. We in the Nation of Islam here and in Tampa 47, Brother Tony, are her soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
We will never let anything,
Right.
we will never let our sister be accosted or offended. We will be right by her side. She is a long-time activist for good and for the liberation of our people here in the Tampa Bay area, and I've known her for many years. And so she has soldiers, Brother Tony.
I love that.
Praises due to Allah. But thank you. And Brother Student Minister Tyrone, same question to you.
Praise be to Allah. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there's no God but Allah, and I bear witness Muhammad is his messenger. I greet you all over America and the world, and the greetings of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Praise be to Allah. Wonderful question, Brother Tony. You know, it says in scripture, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things will be added unto you. And we also taught by the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan that our righteousness shall sustain us.
That's right.
And so what happens is once we in the nation and our people, and that means our people all over, whether they registered or not here in America and the world, once we unite and submit to Almighty God Allah, we get a special protection that the enemy can't do nothing with. We got a protection up in the sky. We got protection spiritually that cover angels that cover all of us. But the key is we have to submit our will to Allah to get that protection and do the right thing. I believe the expression that Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us from Master Prophet Muhammad was, we must clean up or you're out of luck with us. So as long as we are striving to live a clean life, you be surprised what type of protection we got. And now the work for us now, brothers and sisters, is we got to be more focused, and we have to concentrate more on building up something for ourselves so that we can do for ourselves and not depend on the enemy, because we have this is really a time of separation. And I love our sister student minister, Dr. Ava Muhammad, and I remember she was going on a tour all around the country, and she was adamant and she was forthcoming with, we must separate. Separate, the minister says it too, separate or we're going to suffer the consequences. And we see all of the confusion and the deception. Their world, I'm talking about the Caucasian world, is falling apart as we speak daily in a major way. So we don't want to be in that house when it falls down. We got to establish our own house. And we have that with the leadership of the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan. We all headed for our Savior's Day 2024. All roads lead to Detroit. In the end of February, which will be here before you know it. So we'll get a chance to unite, come together, network, as you say, Brother Tony. And I'll close with this. There's an African proverb that says, a spider that spins a strong web can capture a lion. So, yeah, this enemy is very powerful. They shadow ban us. They cut us off of X and Facebook and what have you. But as long as we are united and form a solid wall, we're going to win. Praise.
That's right.
Yes.
And and Brother Tony was able to post the end of his question, the second part of his question, and the importance of networking in business.
Right.
So if you'd like to address that part of the question, we'll be very happy to hear it.
And Sister Candy, go ahead. Ladies first.
Well, I think networking is very important. When I opened up my tea shop back in 2006, for 10 years strong in the Tampa Bay area, I could not survive without networking, getting the word out, going out to different events that was going on in the city. And I'm always mindful of the networking events that I was at, because a lot of them was not necessarily about business, and you can fall in the traps that was set out in reference to networking. I remember Brother James Evans back in the day with Academy of Hope. He would have networking events at different venues, and making sure that we were connecting with the right people when we were out there, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think networking is absolutely important. It's a must.
Absolutely. Thank you. Student Minister Tyrone. Oh, go ahead.
Yes.
Sister
Yes.
Charlene, you want to
Sister Charlene, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I think I can wait until Brother Tyrone goes. I'll wait. It'll be a question for Sister Candy. I'll wait.
Okay, go right ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Brother Tyrone.
Okay. The importance of networking is like a clenched fist. If you come at somebody try to strike a blow with open fingers, you can only do but so much damage. But if you put those fingers together and clench that fist, you can knock somebody out like Mike Tyson used to knock somebody out. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that is one thing we need to think of. The human body, which is the greatest creation on earth, the man and woman. I'm talking about the anatomy of the human being. Think of that network. Mm-hmm. And the Most High Muhammad said, if we learn how to study the anatomy, we could understand a whole lot of stuff. That's a major network. The ministries that were created after the Millions More movement in 2005, that's a network. 9 ministries under the head of the spiritual ministry. The Nation of Islam with all of our mosques and study groups, that's a network. So we have, in all of the churches, all our Christian churches, we just have to unite, come together and love one another and start trusting each other more and rid ourselves of the jealousy and the envy, and we can make major strides. But we already got a lot of networks set up. A lot of the beauticians, a lot of our black beauticians, they have shops all over America, and the black barbers. What if we would all have think tanks to get together with all common trades and services? And that's what Sister Candy does with the Business Bus Store here in Tampa. We all come from different walks of business, but for that one day, we all get on the bus together. We all share what we do. We go frequent and buy goods and services from our brothers and sisters. Buy from a brother before you buy from another. So we got to practice it, and we got to think it more than anything else. But networking, in my home-based business, a lot of people they frown down on the home-based businesses because it's not quote unquote a legitimate storefront business. It's not in the mall. It's not like Walmart and all this type of stuff. But a home-based business is one of the best opportunities for many of us as Black people in America because it allows you to get in where you can fit in. In other words, you don't need a whole lot of money to get in, but the key is you got to find the right one because there's a lot of scams and companies that try to take advantage of people. But there's always a needle in the haystack, and there's always a diamond in the rough. So we can't generalize and say all network marketing companies are bad. There's some good ones too, but you just got to find them, and we got to come together and work them. But the network allows you leverage. By us doing our single businesses, it's very difficult to get leverage. And just to give an example as I close, if there was a 2-ton boulder sitting in front of us, and I had to move it myself, I couldn't budget. But if I got you 4, myself, and 5 other brothers and sisters on it, and we got a stick and put it under like a levee and pushed it, we can move it because we have leverage. So that is the power of networking.
Well, praise is due to Allah. Thank you for that response. Let me say this to our viewing and listening audience.
Wow.
We welcome your participation and engaging our guests. So if you have a comment or a question, feel free to put it in the comment section on your screen.
Wow.
Sister Charlene?
This is such a beautiful discussion, coming into the season or transitioning. Well, actually, we're really out of it as of January 1st, but that's just in terms of putting our mindset on it. I know that Up with Jesus, Down with Santa, and buying Black from ourselves is all, every day. But we're right out of that, the Up with Jesus, Down with Santa movement, our season. But I wanted to ask this question, and Brother Tyrone, thank you for mentioning that. My question is Sister Candy, but just a little preface is you made me think, brother, about tag team marketing and the Buy Black movement. And full disclosure, I'm a member of it.
Me too.
But they do exactly that, what you're speaking of, and many other people. My question first is Sister Candy, and you, Brother Tyrone, I'll just jump them together. Sister, I was thinking about you, and I'm like, wow, you launched your book tour 1 year after, or it's within the same year, which ties right into what you're saying, brother, student minister Tyrone, the Millions More movement, when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan introduced the 9 ministries in 2005. So my question would be to you, would be, how was that for you when you launched it? Did you find us primed and ready? Did you try before 2006 to do that, or did you find that we were ready to support you and it wasn't maybe as difficult if you thought it might have been? Like, how was that for you? And then just real quick, Brother Tyrone, what I will be asking you is just when he talks about the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, he mentioned in 2005, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that we could get cheaper products in Africa, Caribbean, in South America, they would be better quality. And so after she speaks, if you could comment on how is that going? How have you seen that take place? Is there any, like in terms of your sphere with the Trade and Commerce Ministry, any inroad to that? So I just wanted to do them at the same time. If I have to repeat them, I will. But Sister Candy, thank you for taking my question.
Thank you so much for that question, Sister Charlotte. Well, when I started the Black Business Bus Tour, I already had a business going,
Okay.
that I started in 2003. So I was already out in the community networking, so I knew quite a bit of people at that point. And in June of 2006, wanting to bring more business to my shop, struggling at that time. A tea shop, TEA, teapots, tea presses, all of those things. And it was in a Black neighborhood, directly in the middle of the Black neighborhood. And I could have been anywhere else, but I chose to be there. And getting together with a number of people, talking about how we can bring our Black businesses together, how we could network. The bus tour was birthed from that. Getting people on the buses I never forget the first bus tour. I think we had 2 buses. And
you said
2 motor coach buses.
Wow.
Went out to, I want to say 6 different businesses during that time. And after that first bus tour, the first 3 years was actually, the bus tour was every 3rd Saturday of the month. And as time went on that first year, it was an absolute struggle. I was getting a lot of negative responses, truth be told, from people that look like us. Why am I doing it? This is not a good idea. I shouldn't say Black. Take Black out of it. I think I heard some of everything under the sun. Ride around the city looking for Black-owned businesses, and only found a few at that time, a handful of Black-owned businesses. It was pulling teeth with some of the businesses to encourage them for us to bring 50 passengers, 50 people with the intentions of spending with their business, with their business.
Right.
So the first few years was it was tough. Encouraging people. As you see in some of the pictures, the bus tour has become very diverse in our community. When we started out, I never forget my USA Today article, nice write-up in there. I don't like reading negative comments. So someone had called me and said, someone was saying in the comments of the USA Today that I was biased and I was racist. And I didn't want to, I didn't listen to any of that. What I knew was we only had a few Black-owned businesses, and those businesses needed our support. The majority of them during those first 5 years are all gone. We've gone to a number of beauty supply stores throughout the years, and they're all gone. Chocolate shops, they're all gone.
Wow.
And throughout throughout the years, Sister Charlene,
Wow.
it has been tough, but I stayed the course. In
Thank you.
2016, I really saw a huge uptick in the businesses in the community. We were up to 6 motor coach buses at the
Hmm.
point going out. Each bus would go to 4
Praise
different
due to Allah.
Wow.
owned
Wow.
businesses. And
Good.
I remember, sister, when we would have ads in our local newspaper talking about the Black-owned businesses, I would get calls from people that looked like us, and they would ask, "So what are you going to do on that bus? Um, how long are you going to be on the bus? So what are you going to actually do on the bus?"
Mm.
I would have to talk about that over and over and over and over again. Now, mind you, in 2017, when the bus tour started to be a little bit diverse, I've never had to explain what is the Black business bus tour to people that do not look like us. They
Mm.
did it right out of the gate,
Mm-hmm.
and they came on board with us. But again, it was not pleasant at the beginning.
Wow.
Of course, when the pandemic came, now everybody talk about Black businesses, support Black businesses. Sprung off
Mm-hmm.
the hook during that
Wow.
time, wanting a list of Black businesses, and now everyone talk about support Black-owned businesses. I'm proud to say that we have been doing that in the city of Tampa close to 20 years and making a huge impact. If you can imagine,
Thank you.
motor coach bus
Mm.
with 50 people, 45 to 50 people,
Mm-hmm.
pull up to your store
Mm-hmm.
and get off with the intentions of buying,
Mm.
intention of sharing your business with you. It's a huge networking event, and I'm just proud to be a part of this community and doing great things.
Thank you, sister. Thank you also for allowing me to pose that question, Student Minister James. I think it's beautiful. I
Yeah.
think maybe if we had all these, I'm not, no shade. I'm just saying, I just know that if we could just take a fraction of the coach buses that go to the casinos and the riverboats, be like, just
That's
before
right.
you go there, just go over here for a little minute. I know you would get a lot of money. We would, but I thank you for that question. It reminds me of that answer. Sister Maggie Anderson and her family, who did a year-long experience of just buying Black. Every single thing. I mean, they literally went in, Brother James, okay? And everything in their home, their life, they committed to buying Black. And as she did a TED Talk and also followed up with the final call in an interview with me, she said that it was heartbreaking, as you just shared, Sister Candy, that after the year, a lot of those businesses were not in service anymore. They just couldn't. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All praise is due to Allah.
Yeah.
You know what this puts me in the mind of, dear sisters and brother? When a kidnapped victim
Come on,
spends an
come on,
extended amount of time with their kidnapper, they
come on, brother.
adopt what it's called the Stockholm syndrome,
Yes,
where they
yes.
begin to agree with
Mm,
and empathize with their
Mhm.
kidnapper.
come
This
on
is
now.
an unfortunate reality
Mm-hmm.
among Black people. I'm looking at the numbers of those who have been with us from the beginning of the show, and they're a fraction of what they normally are. Because when we start discussing business,
Right, right.
where we start having to discuss about networking among ourselves and coming together,
Mm-hmm.
pooling our resources,
Mm-hmm.
something goes off in our minds. I
Mm-hmm.
believe, in fact, I know this is the residual effect of slavery.
Right.
Yes, yes.
And the enemy is working, even though the enemy is not ostensibly here.
Mm-hmm.
Can't see him, but he's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
that's an unfortunate reality. But we want to applaud you, dear sister. You keep on going. Things are going to change.
Right.
I guarantee it.
yeah. That's
All
right.
praises due to Allah. We have a question. Oh, go ahead, brother. Student.
While we still on what Sister Candy just gave us, they say the race is it's not given to the swift or the strong, but those that can endure to the end. And we have when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was given his mission, he was told by his teacher, Almighty God Allah in person, Master Fard Muhammad, that you got the hardest job that any man got in the world.
That's right.
By him having the hardest job, we got the hardest job. And we can't get down on ourselves. Those of us that are trying to share the light and lift our people up, especially in such on a crucial subject like this is, because where will we be if we don't have some type of capital to have to buy goods and services or put ourselves in a shelter or home, get a car? These are basic necessities, especially living in a capitalistic society. But I just want to offer this because I want to answer Sister Charlene's question about Africa. But before that, it's very interesting how we have been taught to really hate ourselves.
Right.
And that's what Mr. James is talking about. And that's where it comes from. This comes from the self-hatred, and that's what we're facing. But nevertheless, we fight through it. And like the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, we don't want to condemn the dirty glass, just be the clean glass, keep being the clean glass next to that dirty glass, and they'll see our work. But as far as Africa, Sister Charlene, when I was a part of the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, just participating in Dallas in the early years, 2006 or so, it was mainly local. We did business with other entrepreneurs and businesses in Dallas, and we used to have Sunday ministry meetings, and we was headed up by Brother Gregory, who used to be like a CEO of a major Caucasian corporation. So we had nice organization and meetings and what have you. But let me say this, Brother Minister, International Representative Abdul Akbar Muhammad, he is and still is the connection for us to Africa, because you see, I know he's come to Tampa a few times. Student Minister Chad had him here, but we came to Dallas many times, and he would come, him and Brother Brian, with all types of African artifacts and statues. So we got to make the connection. He said to us, if you're Black and you've been living in America and you never put your feet on African soil, before you die, you got to go to Africa and see what Allah has given us in the mother continent of Africa, because all of the books and all of the testimonies of Africa won't do you no justice until we go there. So the first step I would say is for us to connect and start doing business with our people across the ocean in Africa, is to make plans to go there. We used to have certain trips set up for the whole nation out of certain mosques that we would fund and sponsor. Everybody would pay their money and go. I think we need to start that back up, because Africa is where most of the world's resources come from. And China now has a major player in Africa now. They trying to move out the European colonizers, and also Russia is over there too. So we don't want to be left behind. We the original man and woman. We got our stake in this too. But it's a matter of questions like you just posed, us working on that and acting on it, and we can trade and we can do better, because once Mr. Akbar said they're not looking for us to come there and ask them for anything. They want us to come as business people, to go there and be ready to set up shop, and then they'll help us. But don't go there looking for some kind of handout from them, like some of us we do sometimes. So that is what I'll say about Africa and us and our connection. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's remember he also said the Caribbean and Central and South America.
Right.
Thank you.
The world is yours.
The world is yours. It's very interesting how they refer to these countries in Africa as third world and underdeveloped poor countries, but they've extracted billions, maybe even trillions of dollars in mineral rich resource from these so-called poor underdeveloped countries.
Yes.
Such hypocrites.
Yes.
Hypocrites.
I don't want to digress. We have some questions, one of which is Brother Student Minister Chad, and then Sister Coach Sherry Babbitt. If you'll just be patient, we'll get right to you. Brother Chad's question is, The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan encourage us to pool our resources. There it is.
Yeah.
To pool our resources to get with like-minded people. What success have you witnessed or been a part of by this practice? And that's for our dear sister, Candy Lowe Jones.
What success have I witnessed in being a part of this practice? Brother Chad, I have been able to watch a number of businesses in the last 7 years, 5 to 7 years, at a point where they were going to have to close their doors. And bringing that bus to them, Davina Ward, she and her husband, Tony Ward, is one of my examples of the Black Business Bus Tour going there. And they had 2 buses to come to that shop. And they thought that that was going to be the end of their business, closing their business.
Wow.
Never forget her husband coming on the bus before we pulled off and said how we made their day and that they were going to be able to be in business for the next several months. And from that point on, Davina and Tony Ward with Ward's Robes, events, and planning is doing wonders in the Tampa Bay area right now. And they never miss a beat. We're always going to their business. They've known the value of the Black Business Bus Tour. So for me, Brother Chad, those business owners that call me back and say that the Black Business Bus Tour, the awareness that we brought to their business, really put them on the map, really made a difference in their business. We can network all we want. We can get together all we want. But if you have a brick and mortar, or even if you have a home-based business, you have to pay the rent, you have to pay the light bill, you have to do all those things. So you can get together all day long and go from one to the next. But if people are not buying or just your services, you're not going to succeed. And with like-minded people, for me, has been a valuable key. And at the beginning, the soldiers that was there that's another thing, brother, is I'm so grateful that God has allowed me to have wisdom at 60 years old, knowing when the enemy comes, I can recognize them now. Come on now. They are not in the vein of supporting Black businesses and just talking about it and not doing it. I personally don't even want them in my space much. I shouldn't say that because I'm not telling the truth. I don't want them in my space, period. Because I'm about supporting our people, supporting our Black businesses, bringing awareness to those businesses, and we all succeed. We have to get to a point that we trust one another. All of the words that we use, I believe that we don't say that word enough. Should be embedded in our mind when we say faith and blessings and all of that. Trust should be right there at the top because we're so out of it. We're so it's unreachable for so many people. So trusting, and now, Brother Chad, the business owners in our city trust me. They trust me, and I trust them as well.
All praise is due to Allah. Thank you for that very, very inspiring response, dear sister. As we all know, well, I don't know about all, but I'm sure many of us know that that was one of the prime objective principles of Willie Lynch's
Come
tactics.
on, there you go. There you
Rule the slave. After pitting the difference, the distinctions between
go.
or that existed in the slave, they said primarily they must trust only us.
Mhm.
And that was key. And that, unfortunately, is operating in our community.
Mhm.
All praise is due to Allah. Thank you. Thank you. And that was a question really for both of you, Student Minister Tyrone, if you'd like to respond.
Yeah, thank you very much, Student Minister James. I'll take the latter part of the question first. What success have I had or witnessed as pooling resources? I have a network that's decent, but it's a challenging thing, like Sister Candy mentioned, to get our people all on the same page. And I once read a book by Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, and it was about Black economics. And I never forget the first chapter or the first introductory part of the book. He said he went to a conference at a school or at something of that sort, and there was many different people there doing many different things. But the one thing that they wasn't there to hear or see or be a part of was a conference of how to make money to fund everything else. So it's like everybody had all these different ideas and things they wanted to offer, but the main thing to bolster, like Sister Candy said, unless you have somebody buying your products and services, your business will not get off the ground and we won't progress. So we have to do our best to inspire our people, to show them by example that this is the way to go, because if we don't do it, then nobody else will. So yes, we might be a small number, and as the minister usually says, he says, I've been singing a solo, but I want eventually us to be a chorus. And that's how we got to think in business as well. It's a very, very difficult thing, because you got to think about it. We've been really taken advantage of for so long, business-wise, even going back to the early 1900s with the sharecropping. We would come into a store and they say, count the jelly beans in the jar, and I'll give you your fair share of your money. Or the minister mentioned too also, and I believe it was in the Holy Day of Atonement lecture in Philadelphia in 2013. He mentioned that because they cheated us so much, I'm talking about the occasion now, that many of us, when we get money, the money burns our pocket. We the biggest consumers in America, Black people. So we haven't been taught to invest, to save, to have an emergency save, all those principles that bode well for white people when they build assets and get a lot of wealth. So there's a lot we have to learn, but the key is we just have to be inspiring to get our people interested and curious to know that this is really our future. Without us taking care of ourselves economically, we're going to be struggling big time. Matter of fact, we are regressing. And I just say this as I close. They use a game with education with our people, with the student loans. The student loan, you know how much student loans is now? And it's over $1 trillion. And you cannot even claim bankruptcy on student loans. So that's one of the biggest games they put on us, is the educational game. And a lot of our sisters, and they default on those loans. And now when they get out, it's hard to get a home. It's hard to really get started on their life with other things, because they got, like we had earlier, all kind of tricks and deception. So brothers and sisters, come on home to your brothers and sisters, wherever they are in the country, that are talking about business. And we have to be trustworthy, honest, transparent, upfront, and we got to show them the proof is in the pudding.
That's right. All praise is due to Allah. Thank you, Brother Student Minister Tyrone. We have a question from our dear brother Jerome X. Price, and I'm going to put it on the screen. Can we organize an economic networking business national convention? I think that's an excellent idea.
That's what I'm talking about.
Either one of you can respond.
Absolutely. We definitely can do that. We can do that, and we can do that in different areas, different regions of the United States and
Right,
abroad.
right, right.
We just have to come together, a mindset of growth and economic network of our people. Absolutely, we can do that.
All praise is due to Allah, Brother Student Minister Tyrone.
And you know what would be the results of us thinking along those lines and making that happen? By Allah's grace, because Allah is with us, but He never changes the condition of a people till they change their condition. So we gotta do this type of stuff. And then once we do this, you know what the results would be? In time, we can build like our brothers are doing in Chicago with the Oasis, buying property, pooling our resources, buying blocks, buying buildings. Eventually, down the line, what I visualize is us having our own convention center.
That's right.
Why we got to keep giving McCormick Place and Staples Center and now cryptocurrency? Why we got to keep giving all these other Caucasian run establishments our money when we get together and put our money and be organized and do it together? We could have this for ourselves, and we have major occasions during the year: Holy Day of Atonement, Savior's Day, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's anniversary of his birth. We go get together and use it, but when we're not using it, we can rent it out, make money, just like they use it to make money on us. But we got to think like that. It all starts with the mind. The battle is in the sky. The battle's in the mind, business-wise, too. If you're not thinking on it, ain't never going to happen.
Absolutely.
Excuse me with my passion, but
that's all right. And that's what we need, passion in this area. No question about it. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, study the white man in his operations.
Right.
He works in a collective manner.
Mm-hmm. You do
and does not make any excuses for his failures. He said, you do the same. So all praises due to Allah.
Yes. And Student Minister James, we have some examples of what you're saying, brother, right within. I really am enjoying this dialogue because you're all hitting on the science where we were not given the education in terms of how we were not taught that, but we do have it in this dispensation. And that's why I thank Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You may remember for the Swan Song, we were on the property at the National Center, a very good example. I forgot the actual year of that Holy Day of Atonement, but we also were on the property as well. I just remember Ja Rule performing at a concert. On our property. And so this is what makes the unity. Right. What you're all saying, I'm hearing the unity in terms of economic development important because as a nation of Islam under his guidance, we in the church we call it tithing. Well, we do too, but we donate, and this is why it's important, our charities, because we can have things like this. And it was so great during the Swan Song. We were there. We didn't have to deal with all this other stuff and the exorbitant amounts for parking. But anyway, thank you, Brother Student Minister James, for letting me insert that, because
by all means,
these things that I visualize.
Yes, all praises due to Allah, and thank you.
Question to Sister Candy real quick.
Go right ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so like for the bus tours, how many times a year do you go? Because I know that here, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, during the Christmas holiday, she takes a bus of women throughout Leimert Park, the Leimert Park district. And I'm not sure if there's men, but I do remember it being women in the inception, but that's one time a year. But thank Allah for the Black businesses, one being Queen Amina's clothing. She talks about how it's beneficial. But do you go at several times during the year?
It's 4 times a year now. When we started 3 years, it was every 3rd Saturday of the month.
Wow.
So 4 times a year, plus we do, I have a couple of reunions that we're doing, family reunions that are doing the Black Business Bus Tour. So in between, I have other things going on with the Black Business Bus Tour.
Thank you. And one more thing, the tea, because that is really, booming. Tea business, is that still in effect?
I closed the tea shop in 2013.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. You're going to open it again?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm talking fast. Do you consider opening it again?
Maybe.
Got it. Thank you. I'm just excited, because we need these in our neighborhoods, in
That's
our
right.
communities.
That's right.
I live in Los Angeles, and Brother James and Student Minister James, all of you, I drive very far for
Mhm.
certain things. We do have some
Mhm.
things in our neighborhood, but even our
Mhm.
neighborhood for me is about a 25-minute drive.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yes. Duly noted, dear sister. No question about it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like this.
Well, I didn't invite you to help co-host to be quiet.
Praise be to Allah.
This is
I
very.
appreciate your comments and your questions.
Thank
No
you.
question about it. And speaking of questions, we have another question from our dear sister, Coach Sherry Babbitt. How do you overcome the confusion of registering a business name and narrowing down what goes under the business umbrella if you don't have a single product or service?
Good question.
Well, if I can start off,
Go right ahead.
and I would say, Sister Coach Sherry Babbitt, that's why for years I've been suggesting find a reputable network marketing or a direct sales company that already has the products. And then, and the way it's set up now on the internet, most of them, my company is free shipping for most of it, and it goes direct. You don't have to have a trunk full of Mary Kay, or I don't want to, downgrade Mary Kay or Amway, all those type of things. But
And
you don't have to have a garage full of Amway and Shackley and all that. Now, it's with modern technology, modern means, modern methods, you can send your product directly to other people, and it's a valuable product. Let me give you an example. On my with my business, we had coffee for a while. It was called Nuvatrim coffee, and it's a health coffee, and it supposedly to help you lose weight. But the main ingredients of the coffee is from like Asia. It has like a root in it, ginseng, real good properties. And every now and then when I eat some greasy food, when I drink that coffee, in 30 minutes, that nauseousness, that I felt so much better. And that's the beauty of natural remedies and good products. But it turns out, because people did not buy that product enough on the site, our company took it off. And so now I looked on Amazon. So I used to sell one box for $19.99 for 30 packs. Now the same box, instead of $19.99, cost me $30. You see that? But
See?
if we would have supported your brother, like you, instead of buying from another Amazon, they got money all over the place. But you'll see what I'm saying. We got to support each other, because those prices are very competitive. But Sister Coach Sherry Babbitt, that's what we got to do. You got to get in when you fit and try to find a place where someone helps you with your products first, and then build from that. There's a lot of things I still want to do personally, business wise, that's not part of my network marketing company. But you have to start with with some kind of start first, and then you got to move on from that. And then later on you could do because later on I want to have my own company. I don't want to be under somebody else, and I got to go. If he decides to cut the coffee out, I suffer because he cut the coffee. I want to be able to control the strings, and that's how we got to think. But that's how I would say, Sister Sherry, is try to get into a place where you get the products and the services provided for you, and then you can work from there.
All praises due to Allah.
Yes.
Sister Candy, did you want to respond?
I totally agree with Brother Tyrone on that. Absolutely.
All praises due to Allah. I'd like to say it's not as difficult, Sister Coach Sherry Babbitt, as one might think. A lot of times we're a bit fearful because we've never ventured in these areas.
Right.
The honorable, I'll just give you an example, not, of course, blowing my own horn, if you will, but the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan had told us when the pandemic, which we call the pestilence from heaven.
That's right.
But the pandemic, when it came, and we, of course, could not go to the mosques, and we had to shelter at home. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we should use social media, which we did, and I was listening. And so we started Closing the Gap broadcast, and it is a business.
Come on
Right.
now.
It
Tell it.
definitely is a
Say
business.
that. Say
Social
that.
media business.
That's right.
And I didn't know anything about broadcasting at all. I didn't know anything about registering the business, which now we have done. It's just a matter of investigating and getting over the fear and anticipating a difficulty factor that may not even be there. So when we ventured forth on it, I found that it was much easier than I thought. And of course, I had guidance from my dear brother, and he is the production manager of the network, Brother Michael Shabazz. He's also the secretary of the mosque. But under his guidance, he was showing me step by step how to register the business. And it was very, very easy. And of course, he helped me do it. Now, from that point, we begin to just ask other broadcasts
Right.
that they'd like to be a part of the network. The network didn't exist except in my mind. And we just asked. And we had the help of our dear brother, student minister Dimitri Muhammad, who, when I shared the idea with him, he went on his own, soliciting broadcasts on my behalf to become a part of the broadcast network. Brother Dimitri is, of course, he's a quiet member. He's actually a co-founder of Closing the Gap broadcast, but he's a quiet member of the network, and he is our consultant. So I give him his props every time I can, but he stays in the background and just works and helps. And I thank Allah for him. But dear sister, just go for it. You can Google it. Or if you have friends in business, and case in point, our dear sister Candy Lowe Jones, if you can get in touch with her and talk with her, it's easier. Then you may think all you need is the idea.
Right.
Yes.
To get started.
Yes.
All praise is due to Allah.
I have a question, Brother Student Minister James.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think there's a message from Sister Candy. But I want to, if I could, ask this question to both of them, and also you too, Student Minister James. In the Final Call newspaper recently, in the Redistribute the Pain article, we cited that according to the Nielsen Global Connect, right, they provide analytical data about the habits of consumers.
Come on.
They said that the Black population's influence will continue to grow as our buying power does. Right. And so we're projected to reach $1.8 trillion by 2024. So that's this year. They're saying that we're going to reach $1.8 trillion. And in 2019, we were at 1.4 trillion. That's higher than the gross domestic product of Mexico. Now, that's according to the CILI Center for Economic Growth. So, Sister Candy, how do you think we can tap into that? Because they're tapping in, they're analyzing everything and coming at us hard to get that money. How do you think you can capitalize or benefit from that for your businesses, as well as you, Brother Student Minister Tyrone? Oh, can't hear her.
You're on mute.
So, okay. So Charlene, I think that we have to connect with the institutions that are saying that they are giving these funds, the money to our businesses. During the pandemic, so many disparities came out about Black people, our health, our businesses, our buying homes, loans. Everything came out during that time. And we were at the bottom of almost every one of them. But there was a number of banks that said during that time that they were going to start giving, be a little more lenient to Black-owned businesses. And we have to tap into those. I know in the Tampa Bay area, I don't want to say the names of those banks, but there's a couple of them in the city that are saying that they're doing that. And a number of the businesses have been able to get some of those funds. I do know that there's the SBAs, which I used to go to all of those meetings, and the majority of the time I came up with nothing. But I do know that there's a number of them that are, and that goes back to, for us, is being able to trust one another and being able to pool our monies together. I remember, sister, I was trying to be a part of, and I say trying to be a part of because I was hoping that we would be successful of being around like-minded people, and we were going to put money in this pool so that when it was time for us to raise your finger and say, I need funds, I need money this quarter, it was going to be there. But we were not able to get that thing running. All sorts of dynamics came about amongst us. So if we are able, it goes back in my mind, being able to trust one another. I know that we have several Black-owned banks across America now. And what are they doing? Are they giving the resources there for the small Black-owned businesses? You know, a lot of times whenever they give, they really don't give enough. $2,500 really is not enough for a for businesses, period. You know, and they write a check by the business names that they help the businesses, but they really are not giving what's needed to really sustain Black-owned businesses. I was in a meeting with someone the other day, and Caucasian guy, and he said that just for doing or being new certain people, he was able to get this $100,000 loan for his business. And I just looked at him like I was crazy, because I'm like, where do they do that at for Black businesses? I have not found that yet. We just have to keep pushing and knowing that one day it's going to happen. I just have not seen it yet. I stay positive that it will, because our businesses need the bigger dollars.
Ma'am, thank you. Thank you for that. I feel your heart on that. I do want to clarify also, and pardon me for any miscommunication too. But there were jewels in what you said. What I meant by that statement, that statistic, is that they're saying that Black consumers, we have that $1 trillion power. Not trillion, I'm sorry. What do they call it? $1.8 trillion. And
and with that being said, sister, you mentioned it earlier. When you go shopping, you go 25 miles away to shop. And I'm not sure if that's with a Black-owned business or not. But if we had more Black-owned businesses for us to spend those trillions of dollars with, we could keep them with Black-owned businesses. If you could only count 20 within a radius of where you live, you're not spending those trillions with them. You're spending the trillions with someone else. Like shiny things for whatever reason. We like shiny things. Comes out, we just want to spend our money. Brother Tyrone mentioned it earlier. We don't want to. Why do we not want to have an emergency fund?
Come on.
I don't get that.
You better have it.
And we have it. We have it, but we don't save it.
That's right.
We have it, and we want to spend it for. We could even have a nice car, but we want to upgrade the car. We have enough suits and dresses, but
Come
we
on now.
more
Talk to
suits
me.
That's
or
right.
dresses.
That's right. That's right.
How in the
Teach.
world, how in the world, sister, I can count my dresses. How do you have a closet packed with clothes and you can't see the colors of them?
Mhm.
Because you spending and spending. I can, for me, just for Candy Lowe,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. James, I can count my shoes because I don't have that many. And where are you gonna where are you gonna wear 200 pair of shoes? I don't know.
That's right.
Tell me some. What
Yeah,
size you wear?
that's right. Imelda Marcos. Come on.
You know, on that point, I gotta say, I would be remiss. Please allow me to say this, and thank you, sister. You know, yes, some of them are majority Black. They're in like the Merck Park area. There are some things in the South Bay where I am that I can patronize, but for the most part, some of the products and services are not. But I just want to say, shout out, or shout out to the MGT,
Right.
the student, national captain, Sister Naima Muhammad. Thank Allah for the nation, because we have our own.
Come
In
on.
addition to the uniforms by Newell
Right.
Apparel, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan,
Come on.
we have Taha.
Come
It's Dress 19 upgrade, if you will, with Mother Tynetta, her family, Sister Carly and family, continuing that on. But we also have Demodis. Did you know that, Sister Candy? We have a company, Demodis, with very modest, beautiful clothing, different colors. I wish I had pictures, but at any rate, that's not what was planned. But you just made me think about that, because when I go to the malls and the stores looking for things like essentials, foundation, or something like that, even earrings.
Yes.
Our beloved sister here makes our jewelry. Her name is Sister Giselle, that I buy from. And I know there are many across the country.
Yes.
But Demodis, I won't go, Brother James, stop me now, because I'm about to do a full commercial with Demodis. We have
Come on now.
casual wear, we have dressy wear,
You got to market. You got to
even
market.
as well with Newell Apparel. And this is what we need to do. Sister, you just inspire me so much, Sister Candy. You really do.
And with those trillions, if we're spending them with Black-owned businesses,
yes,
that is the key. I love spending my money with Black folk. It does my heart.
Come on, teach.
Come on. Come on.
Yes. When we pull up to those businesses, the joy in the people on the buses faces and the business owners, it is like a holiday.
Yes.
Bus pulls up, and it does my heart great to say, just like you say about your earrings, I can dress, I can say my bracelets, I can say the youth make my bracelets all the time. I just love showing off things that I purchase at a Black-owned business. And we do that more often.
That's right. That's right. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Yes. And if I could just interject, the great comments, sisters and student, Mr. Jane. I want to just lift this from a monumental book written by the Most High Elijah Muhammad, called Message to the Black Man in America. And we can get a lot of economic know-how from this book, but listen to what he says on page 174. This is quote the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This is what he says. He says, because the so-called American Negro has been deceived and misled, he has become a victim of deception. He is today in the worst economic condition of North America. Of course, we know this book was written in 1965, but if you look at the statistics, we are really regressing when you talk about many of us getting caught up in the student loans. Many of us now we have to subsist with low wage paying jobs. You know, the minimum wage for the United States has stayed at $7.25 since 2009. Now that's just the base rate. You know, most of them now, most states up to $15. But who can survive on $15, $7 an hour, $15? There's not an apartment you could get in America or a home you could live in making any kind of minimum wage. But this is what the government puts out to us. So what they're showing, the government is not going to take care. They're not going to take care. Matter of fact, like the minister said, they have no more use for us. And that was from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's book with the program for development and what have you. Now, from another book I know many of us are familiar with, it's called the Holy Bible. And in the book of Ecclesiastes, Solomon says, a feast is made for laughter, and wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. So, I mean, actually, oh man, y'all, when I was in Dallas, I'm a DJ as well. The minister did a lecture called Allah Offers You Heaven While You Live from the Final Call Administration Building, March 7th, 1985. And of course, the minister always keeps us grounded. He always lets us know, don't go chasing money. The money will come. Make sure we spiritually grounded first. That's the most important thing. And then you work on the money. But he said we need the money, but don't ever put the cart before the horse. But in this lecture, the minister did Allah offers you heaven while you live. He lifted what Solomon said in Ecclesiastes. He says, if wisdom is a defense and money is a defense, no wonder black people are defenseless. They lack wisdom and they lack money. And then he goes on to say, I just wrote this down this morning. I was feeling it. It said, and the money that we have, we are so careless and foolish with that we throw away our defense because we have not the wisdom to recognize the value of the money we already possess. That's what Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan. So just what Sister Candy was saying, we have to get into the class of economics. As the brother mentioned earlier, we have as a nation, especially us, we the leaders of our people in the world. They look for us to leadership. We got to be on the forefront of putting this on the minds of our people, letting them know how important economics and financial literacy is. And we got to learn this because as long as we're behind and not focusing on these type of things, the Caucasian he'll take us to the cleaners for the rest of our days. So praise be to Allah. Matter of fact, Student Minister Chad and the laborers at Mosque number 47, we're going to have a special Wednesday night conference and meeting coming up with Sister Candy Lowe and business owners coming up in a couple of weeks right at our mosque. And I would suggest to all of our brothers and sisters, our Christian brothers and sisters in the church, come on by and visit us. We not trying to proselytize our faith. We just want to share the guidance that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has given to us. And he's a man that he has not guided us wrong, and he will not guide us wrong. And if you hear what he has to say, how he guides us, you will know it'll help you. So we are on the forefront. We got to take the lead, and we got to represent. Praise be to Allah.
All praise is due to Allah. Thank you. And you were reading my mind, Brother Student Minister Tyrone. Yes, I definitely wanted to announce that we were going to host an event coming out of the 9 ministries, the Ministry of Trade and Commerce in particular, this month. But thank you for announcing that, dear brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Praise be to Allah. I want to post this information, and this is, for all of us, but he addressed it to Sister Candy. This is our brother, Zachary Muhammad. He says, what Sister Candy is addressing regarding funding ourselves or being our own bank, EPA has the solution of syndication of businesses. And he posted the contact information, the
EAP.
EAPtrust.com, Mansa Gold 19. So perhaps that could be of help to everyone who's listening. Sister Candy as well.
Yes.
Praise be to Allah.
I'm gonna look it up.
Well, I'm going to leave it up there for a moment for people to copy.
Let me see. Let me check this out, Brother James.
Okay. We lost Brother Tyrone.
There is a lot that we know that just my thoughts. I don't think it's independent though of what's being done and what's happened. But we have so much power. I think it was mentioned earlier, if I'm not mistaken, but the call for separation. Right. And just like Sister Candy receives the question about what you're going to do on that bus and different things like that. I remember Sister Student Minister Dr. Ava Muhammad, may Allah be pleased with her, speaking about during her her tour, when she was on the tour, raising awareness about separation, and the question coming, where we're going to go, how we're going to do it. She said it starts in the mind. And then she also just talked about taking steps toward that. So if you're not doing some of the things we were saying, start small and do that. But, we can flip. This is already a flipped script because we're in the day of judgment. And so we have everything, the blueprint. We have a sister with the bus tour. We have you all doing that in Tampa. We have the 9 ministries, and we could just pick up something, even if it's a small thing, and you find that it goes a long way. There's a beautiful sister in our mosque who sells bread. She has good loaves, good rolls, but we'll pass her. I don't want to say we'll pass her, but let me say, I wasn't aware, and I would pass her. And until I inquired about it, I'll go buy bread at the store if I'm not baking it myself. So what's up with that? Like the small entrepreneur, maybe start with them, but find the Black business that does it. And we have the power. We have 1.8 trillion. If that's what they're estimating, I believe it's more.
All praise to Allah. If I may, right at this juncture, what we are soliciting, and Sister Sheila, if you have our solicitation advertisement, if you can post it very quickly, we'd appreciate it. We're soliciting help for, or not that, the solicit, there it is. We are expanding. We are looking for production techs, marketing, graphic designers, new content creators, and revenue generating or revenue generation. Now I want to put marketing and revenue generation together because we are soliciting someone who would like to be a member of the network or just offer some advice to us. But we'd like to have you as a network to CTGB broadcast network. And we're looking for someone to teach us how to market and how to solicit funds.
That's right. That's right.
So we need that kind of expertise.
That's right.
For those of you in the viewing and listening audience who are listening and viewing, you can contact us at Closing the Gap Broadcast Network or Closing the Gap Broadcast at gmail.com if you're interested. And we hope you are. Thank you. Now let's continue. Praise be to Allah. I thought I saw another question here.
I have a question.
Ma'am?
I have a question for Sister Candy while you find that one.
Go right ahead.
So what does it take to operate your bus tour company? In terms of staffing or,
I'm sorry, say it again.
In terms of staffing and operations, what does it take to operate it as you are now?
We have hosts on the bus. Each one of our buses they have captains on the buses. We have hosts on the buses as well. We have people that sponsors our buses. And when we go out to the businesses actually pay for us to bring the people to them as well.
How much to host? Say if someone wanted to host, wants to sponsor, pardon me.
My sponsorship level goes up to $2,500
for one tour.
Yeah, it goes up to that point. Yeah.
I got it. We should sponsor that, y'all. Let's get together. Somebody join.
That's right.
LiberatedSisters@gmail.com and let's talk. I want to go with the group. Let's sponsor a bus tour together as a group.
That's right.
All praises due to Allah.
I'll put my email in the chat. Oh, let me mute.
And may I add, when we talk about sponsoring a bus tour, right now, by Allah's grace, by God's grace, Sister Candy and us, we're local in Tampa. But just as Student Minister James in the Closing the Gap broadcast started from a little studio right down from our mosque in a little real small space to a place where now millions of people around the world can click a button and see him and us. We can start and we have started locally. There we go, right there. That was just the last one. You check our picture, but we can start locally. But we always got to remember to think big, and eventually we can connect the states. We can go up the eastern border. We can get a whole lot of participants to go cross country to Wichita Orleans and LA. But we got to have the vision. You got to think, and then we make it happen. Allah will help us, but we got to at least start thinking on it and then working on it, and then it'll happen. But if you don't think on it, it ain't gonna happen. And by us having a program and a platform like this tonight, at least we putting it on people's mind. And student Mr. James mentioned that a lot of the numbers live are low, but thanks to technology, there's gonna be recording and do this little thing right here. That's how I market my business all day long. I got 3 businesses and a job, and when I'm on a job, I'll be marketing my businesses. And that's what the minister said. Thanks to Steve Jobs and all of those that gave us that technology, because now the playing field is being more leveled. It's not level, but it's more level than it's ever been, because now everybody could be a reporter. Everybody got an opinion.
That's right.
And now you got to come to a point now where you got to discern your time and say, who am I going to listen to? Because it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I ain't got time to listen to everybody. So I got to try to find the right people to listen to that can help me progress, help us progress as a people. But the phone is powerful. Let's use it. That's a marketing is right there in this phone, but it's a science to it.
Oh, a national Black business bus tour.
You're right. National.
That's right.
National. That's a lot of people, a lot of money generated, a lot of connections, a lot of networking, a lot of stores being hit. But you got to think big.
Go ahead, Sister Candy. Come on to LA.
All right. All right now.
Not to stay, just to have a bus tour.
I understand. I definitely understand.
Take care of business.
Right. We have another question here that Brother Chad sent me, actually.
Okay.
And it's directed to our dear Sister Candy. What was some of the no, not that one. Can you describe the purchasing power of having the BBT connecting to Black-owned businesses?
The purchasing power.
Right.
The purchasing power has been unbelievable. Let me give you an example. Angie with Accent Styles Boutique. Brother Tyrone, I think you and Brother X was on the bus.
Brother Kamal. Yeah, Brother Kamal.
Yeah, went to Accent Styles Boutique.
Yes, ma'am.
We were there for 45 minutes. This young sister made over $3,000.
Go ahead. That's what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Action.
That's right.
So if you are able to bring 45 to 50 people to a business, Brother Chad, to a business, everybody on that bus is spending at least $30.
Good.
Do the math. And that much. And they go to 4 different businesses, each bus, throughout the city on that day. Now, mind you, at the beginning, it was every 3rd Saturday of the month. It was circulating quite often. And now it's January 13th is our Black Business Bus Tour in the city. Then April is the Black Business Bus Tour in the city. And people on the bus with the intention. You can have something free all day long. Come on. To come. They're going to come and they're going to eat the hot dogs, drink, eat the steak or whatever that might be.
Right.
But we are asking people to come, get on a bus and bring your stash, bring your money, bring your cash to go out and spend it.
Right.
Black-owned businesses.
Right.
And the power of it, the energy that's a part of it is unbelievable. With people that come out, it's no colored people time. The buses leave promptly.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Get on the bus.
I bear witness. I bear witness.
The people come at 9 o'clock sharp. No, I'm sorry, 8 o'clock sharp. So that the buses leave at 9 o'clock sharp, and we out spending money with Black owned businesses. Intention. I say it all the time.
Right.
So the power of it has been unbelievable in the Tampa Bay area.
How about the feedback from the patrons, the tourists?
On the buses, the energy, brother Tyrone could probably speak on that. You see the energy of the people getting off the bus with bags and dancing to the music and just feeling what they did for the last four and a half hours is unbelievable. You have to experience it.
That's right.
Wow.
And I could bear witness, you know, just being together with us is a beautiful thing. That's number one. Just having all of us in one space with like minds going to help each other in a place where we need help. To me, that's the victory right there. So it's all gravy after that. Once we all commune and get together as one, and everybody come there with a good spirit. Nobody's on the bus complaining about nothing, or everybody has a real good mindset because we're out to benefit and uplift our people through economics, which is sorely needed, and it's something that the enemy, as Student Minister James opened the show with, one of the sciences they never wanted to teach us is the science of business. That's number one, because once you have a successful business, then you got to have the army or the warfare to protect it. But the spirit on the bus is beautiful, and let me say this as I get ready to close on this point. Yes, we have our Caucasian people on the bus with us, but we are taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that we respect people that respect us. So as long as they respect me, I'm not worried about them and the color of their skin. You know, we are all people trying to go for the same thing. We all trying to be successful in business. There's not no time to try to pound out the people on that from over the head with something that they're not there on the bus for. You know, come on now. We are more mature and sophisticated than that. But a lot of times the enemy don't give us that credit. So that's why we have to represent and do what we do. But we know how to handle ourselves with other people, and we were respectful of them. So Candy, she asked a lot of us to get on the bus, and everybody say a little something. So when I say something that's very generic. I don't say nothing that is for a Black only meeting at the mosque. You know what I'm saying, Mr. J? So you got to be smart. Allah gave us the brain. He gave us the brain to use. Praise be to Allah.
It's trade and commerce.
Right. Money is green. Money is green, not black or white. Go ahead.
All praise is due to Allah. Brother Chad has another question, and this is directed to you, Student Minister Tyrone. The terminology "do for self" is known. I'm going to post it up. Okay, very good. Thank you. The terminology "do for self" is a known slogan for the NOI, or Nation of Islam, and your company is called Do for Self Enterprise. What made you name it that, and how would you explain the meaning of Do for Self?
Do for self, I would explain that meaning. I had a quote here. Let me see if I can find it. But when we do for ourselves, we're not dependent on anyone else. And the Honorable Minister Farrakhan teaches us that we have been taught to serve Caucasian people, but we have not been taught to serve each other. That's so right. we got a lot of learning and a lot of patience and characteristics we got to build up to learn to serve each other, because we are the most beautiful people, but we just been made other than ourselves by circumstance in this evil and wicked and cold world. But what made me name my company Do for Self Enterprises, and I like the term enterprises because under that enterprises I have my DJ business, which is T-Bone Productions. Like I said, I'm a licensed life insurance agent, so there's a lot under that conglomerate. But Do for Self means just what it says: do for self. Because if we do not look out for our own self, that's a natural rule of nature. Pigeons hang with pigeons. Doves fly with doves. You don't see penguins hanging out with seals at SeaWorld. The seals with the seals, the penguins with the penguins. That's just a natural order. We are more powerful together. And let me say this. If you remember, it was even before my time in the 50s or so, before integration, which most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us was their biggest trick. But when we had our own black bus company, we had our own cabs, we had our own stores, morally, and spiritually, we were in a better place then. Families were together, doctors, lawyers, lived next to the janitor and the garbage man. See what I'm saying? But now when integration came into the picture, the elite of the professionals move out, and we leave all of the people that have the lower type of jobs in the projects to fend for themselves, and we prey on one another. So they mechanically and they engineer these social circumstances for us to fail. But the number one thing we gotta do for self with is we gotta repair the black family. We gotta get the man in his proper role. Because the woman, y'all black women, y'all been handling business for so long, and 80% of the black homes are really led by black sisters, women. So, and we know why that is the case, but we don't have the time to go deep into that. But we got to get the divine order that Allah wants, have the man up under him, up under Christ, and the woman, y'all are help me and get our children connected to us, get them off those phones for a little while. Let's have a dinner like the Waltons used to have. Remember the Waltons TV show? They would always sit around the table and they would be a family that talk to each other. Now we don't even, everybody's eating on TV tables in different rooms. They phone at the restaurant. We got to connect. It's all about, we're not going to build wealth without the black family. And that's more do for self. That's more do for self than anything I can say. All praise
due to Allah.
Y'all fire me up with this subject, man.
Student Minister Tyrone, good time sat around the table too.
Yes, right. But yeah, the good time. James Evans, and he just
Wrong, father.
Yeah, John Amos said he's one of my favorite black actors. But praise is due to Allah. That's a good memory. You remember the black? You remember the black?
Absolutely do. Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. I want to extend this question to Sister Candy too. Similar question in terms of the Black Bus Tour. Let me just pull it up here. How did the idea of the Black Business Bus Tour come about, and when?
In 2006, not having enough patriots in my own business, and that come from out networking all the time. I remember my son would tell me, Mom, you out with those people more than you at home on Thursday nights. I was out networking on Thursdays all the time, telling everybody that would listen about tea. And my shop over at the Harbor Club in Tampa, which was an amazing venue owned by a Black woman in our city, and coming up with ways to get people to my shop. And if we can get this bus and go out to other Black-owned businesses and they return back to my shop, I would have Christmas, so to speak. I would have a holiday every single month at my shop. So on the bus, on our ride in back to the Harbor Club, I would talk to everybody about my tea and all sorts of green tea, black tea, rooibos tea. When they got back there, my daughter was running the shop. So they were in by shop, by tea, teapots, tea presses, anything that they had to do with tea. And I also had vendors there. We've always had vendors from day one. So there were vendors when we returned back. There was food when we returned back. There was a restaurant there in the Harbor Club. So it was a win-win for everyone that was under that building during the time. Also, sister, that building at the Harbor Club, I'm sure student minister James remembered the Harbor Club with Miss Sarah Osley. I was the first business in that shop other than the barber shop, which her partner owned. And after us doing the Black Business Bus Tour month after month after month, a number of the vendors that had fear at the beginning
Come on.
saw that
Come on.
that bus tour was
Right.
going to return back to the Harbor Club and that they could do it. They started having more faith in themselves.
Mm.
At that point, we had another business open up in there. We had a boutique open up in there. We had a bookstore open up in there. We had an accessory shop open up in there. We had a hair salon open up in there. And it was just unbelievable how I watched business owners believe in their sales.
Come on. Come
And
on.
the bus tour was a savior, so to speak, for a number of businesses when we first started.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Oh.
And can I bear witness real quick to what I witnessed? There was a brother that has a haberdashery or clothing shop right where our mosque is located.
Right.
And he had a apparel shop. He had nice suits and everything in there, and he was there for a long time. But the last time Sister Candy and I and our brother and sisters went on that bus tour, we seen our brother in the West Shore Mall.
Right.
And you know that the rent costs a lot. It's a whole lot more money for your. Go ahead, Sister Candy, take it from there.
Absolutely. We had Sister Charlene. We had a young lady that started out with the Black Business Bus Tour in 2017. She started out as a vendor, switching up styles. She was a vendor in 2018, 2019. Then she moved into a space, moved to a building. And in 2021, she moved into that same mall that he's talking about in West. Because
big timers,
consistently supported her.
Right.
The Black Business Bus Tour goes to her shop. We patronize her.
Right.
She markets. We bring awareness to her business, and she is just unbelievable.
That's right. That's right.
You're a treasure, sister. You and your team, your staff, you are a treasure. I'm so glad you with the believers down there in Florida.
That's right.
All praise is due to Allah. I remember talking with brother. Oh, excuse me, Sister Candy.
Excuse me,
Go ahead.
Student Minister James. I want to say this because the Nation of Islam in my city has been supportive of me, and I have been supporting them as well. It's almost been like a call and response.
Yes.
From them to me. Years. I tell people all the time, I listen to the minister, Brother Chad, a Brother Jihad, a Brother Michael, a Brother John over in St. Pete. Somebody's going to me to let me know that the minister will be speaking. I remember several months back, my husband and I, we were driving in the car, and I listened to the minister. We listened to him all the way till we got home. And I have just been such a believer and knowing that the greatness that he give to us all. I may not be under the umbrella, sister, but I'm under the umbrella.
Go ahead.
That's right.
Indeed.
Go ahead, Sister Candy.
The majority of our people have been fooled along the way and don't know how to come back home.
Right.
I gotta say this, brother, student minister. I say to young people all the time, our young boys, if they would have been under the umbrella, you can venture off if you want to, but if they would have been under the umbrella, we would have gotten a different response for our young men. We're lost, but I am believing that God is going to make a way for us.
That's
That's
right. That's
He
right.
He
made a way
has.
for
That's
us.
right.
We
That's
have been
right.
pricked
You gotta
along
believe.
the way, and it's a lot of people out there that is unraveling it, and we know it, and we're going to succeed. All
Go
of us
ahead.
that
Oh,
believe
yeah.
it mind. This right here is so powerful.
That's what I'm talking about.
Each.
That's where
Mhm.
that fear, the fear gets so deep down in there that
Mhm.
you cannot even remove it.
Come on. Come on. You teaching.
That's right.
You teaching.
You got to get it. That
That's
is,
right.
may
That's
I,
Great
may,
test-
may,
great
may I
testimony.
make a statement on that, Brother
Go ahead,
Stephen
sis.
James? Sister Katie,
Mm.
thank you so much. You are indeed my sister, our sister, and you're doing the work. Oh
That's
my God, in such a major way. You know, you are,
Mhm.
if I may say it this way, you are pushing the program of the Honorable
Mhm.
Elijah Muhammad. You're pushing the
Mhm.
Muslim
Mhm.
program, and we know that a Muslim is just one who submits their will to Allah God. I'm not here to preach. We have a student
Mhm.
minister here. Our teachers are here, but I just want to tell
Mhm.
you that, you know, thank you so much because, sister, you're an example for me of how
Right.
to
Right.
better follow the man that I say I follow. You
that's
know, literally, sister. Thank you so much.
all praise is due to Allah. Well, it's 8:52. We've got about 8 more minutes to the show. And of course, we have to make our closing announcements. But I would like us to take this time, Sister Sheila, if you could continue to scroll the contact information for both Sister Candy Lowe Jones and our dear brother, student minister Tyrone. And as it's scrolling, tell us how we can reach you again and how to support you, starting with Sister Candy.
Thank you so much, Minister James. My Facebook page is Candy Lowe, and that's CandyLowe. My other Facebook page is Candy Lowe Black Business Bus Tour, Black Business Bus Tour Tampa, and Instagram is Candy Lowe and Tea and Conversation. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And student minister Tyrone.
Yes. My network marketing business website is www.doforself. There you go with the do for self again. .myecon.net. And there we can help you if you like with your own home-based business. And we say to have a home-based business in America is one of the things that even all of us as Black people should have. In addition to whatever you're doing, because there's so many tax savings because you're listed as a business owner, and most of the tax laws in America are written for business owners and not employees. There's a book called 475 Deductions of a home-based business. So while the employee gets about a handful, 3, 4, 5, a business owner gets about 400. So as we get ready to go to Savings Day, my Delta flight is going to be 80% written off. Everything is business and leisure coupled up together, and the government pays the bill. So that's my my website, my business, TyroneH.com. That's my blog. That's where, by Allah's grace, I'm a writer, and I like to express myself through creativity, what have you. So that's my blog. And on the bottom, my email is brotyrone48DLS. You can always reach me there. My Facebook page is Tyrone H. Muhammad 1, and my X or Twitter is @TyroneMyEcon. So I know I talk real fast. That's my New York style, but y'all got it. But please stay in touch.
I certainly will be in touch, brother, especially about that 80% payment.
Yeah. There's so many tax breaks that we leaving money on the table.
I would love that.
We are leaving money on the table. There's a sister called Dr. Lynn Richardson. Look her up on YouTube. She's a sister out of Philadelphia, I believe, but she does a good presentation on why we must have a home-based business. But like I said, that's for another show. But go ahead, brother, sisters. Go ahead now.
That other show we will work to make happen by Allah's grace. And while we're in the spirit of support of our businesses and, of course, disseminating the contact information, those of you, first of all, I want to say that your participation and attendance to the show is a great support to the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. For those of you who'd like to show your support financially, as we do have some financial realities here. You can do so by donating to Closing the Gap broadcast via PayPal at jkingdom1@aol.com or Cash App at $CTG broadcast and Zelle at Closing the Gap broadcast at gmail.com. Once again, that's Closing the Gap broadcast via PayPal, jkingdom1@aol.com or Cash App, which is the $CTG broadcast and Zelle, Closing the Gap broadcast at gmail.com. And we thank you for your continued financial support. So at this time, we got to go into our closing remarks. Closing announcements, but I want to thank you, Sister Candy, Brother Student Minister Chad. Keep calling you Chad, Brother Student Minister Tyrone, because I miss my brother.
Yes, we can tell.
And I miss my sister, Star, who will happily be returned to us next week on Closing the Gap broadcast, both of them. But thank you so much. We got to do another show on this same theme.
Yes.
We can't talk about it enough. And don't forget, we'll be coming up with our seminar, if you will, this month, dealing with trade and commerce. Our dear Sister Candy Lowe Jones will be there. Of course, Brother Student Minister Tyrone will be there. Brother Chad. He's doing wonderful things under his leadership here at Muhammad Mosque number 47. All praise is due to Allah for our brother. Got to give our brother props. Praise be to Allah. Now, for our closing announcement, and Sister Sheila, you got to help me out here. We want to invite all of you to get your latest copy of what I said in the beginning of the show. And I repeat, the greatest paper that has ever been published by the greatest publisher, and that is the Final Call newspaper. The headline is, or we can also, bear with me now, the headline is Our Demonstration of Love for the New Year. That's the words of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Of course, the cover page is Database Doubts, but it's a wonderful paper. And of course, it's published by Black people, but it's for all people. The information will be beneficial to all, regardless of class, creed, or color. So we invite you to get your Final Call. You can also subscribe to our digital Final Call, which go to finalcalldigital.com and subscribe. And you can have it on any of your devices and read it whenever it comes out. And it's there, actually, it's there quicker than the hard copy, because as soon as it's published in Chicago, you get it right on your device. So once again, that's finalcalldigital.com. Subscribe today. In the Final Call newspaper, we feature the How to Eat to Live section, where, of course, you can get the books and publications of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, both CDs and DVDs at the online store, the Final Call online store. That's store. Okay, you're a little fast. This is your, you know, I'm not used to doing these announcements. Store finalcall.com or call 866-602-1230 extension 200 or 200. So go to your Final Call online store today. All right. We have the Final Call radio. That's 24/7, where you can hear teachings of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan 24/7. It's a wonderful radio program. And if you want to be inspired, if you're feeling a little low, or even if you're just not feeling low, tune in to Final Call Radio. We guarantee you your spirits will be lifted. Thank you. Make sure we get the Let's Change the World, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's music project. That's the box set now available at lctwmusic.com. And you know that our brother is a virtuoso with that violin. There's no question
right. That's right.
about that. All praises due to Allah. Okay, we're still in the COVID season. So let us not drop our guard. We have a section in the Final Call newspaper that deals with how to combat this COVID-19 affliction. Again, we refer to it as a pestilence from heaven. So you really can't get a solution to a pestilence from heaven from hell. So we don't take the COVID
Right.
19 shot. And we don't advocate that you do. But go to the Final Call newspaper and get the right remedy. All praises due to Allah. And for those of you who tune into our show regularly, or if you're just a first-time joiner or participant, and you like what you heard and you believe what you heard on this show and others is good for you and good for your people, and you see yourself wanting to learn more and perhaps becoming a member of the Nation of Islam. We don't necessarily say join, because you're joined to the nation by birth, particularly if you are a black man or woman or a person of color. You are automatically a member of the Nation of Islam. We just want you to be registered. You've heard of that book of life, when it states that if your name is not written on the book of life, you may be left out of the blessings that are promised through the mouth of Jesus in the Bible.
That's right.
So we want your name on that book of life. You can go to, what is it, NOI.org/join and be prompted as to how to get more information about our orientation class and eventually becoming a member, a registered member of the Nation of Islam. Okay, I think we have some more announcements. Yes.
There he is.
All praises due to Allah. We want, if you're in the Bay Area, we want you to come on out and be our special guest at the mosque number 47. Our little brother will be teaching a subject entitled, Surely Allah changes not the condition of a people until they change their own condition.
Praise be to Allah.
11 a.m. Sunday, that's tomorrow, at 5508 North 50th Street, Tampa, Florida. For more information, you can call 813-867-0471. Come on out and be our special guest. And I hope, Sister Candy, that you'll be able to attend. I know it may be short notice, but we would be honored if you could be there. But thank you. That's for all of you who are in the Bay Area. But if you're not in the Bay Area and you want the teachings, you can go to NOI.org and hear the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as they are, delivered by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his students, particularly the student national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He'll be speaking tomorrow. Just go to NOI.org. So whether you tune in via website or webcast, or if you're in the Bay Area, come on out to the mosque physically. We'd love to see you. But if not, make sure you tune in to the webcast at NOI.org and hear our brother, the student national assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, student minister Ishmael Muhammad. And I believe that's all the announcements. Once again, we reiterate our solicitation to support our sisters, Black Business Bus Tour, support our brother with Do for Self Enterprises, and by all means, support the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. Take note of the information scrolling on the bottom of your screen. We can use your support. And we're doing something with your support. Sister Sheila, if you can show how the network has grown since we've started. You can put that up.
Praise be to Allah. Wow.
Now we have 6 active and
Go
2
ahead.
that will be active.
Come on now.
Once they work out their scheduling. I'm not going to list them individually, but we want you to tune in during the week to our affiliate broadcast in the Closing the Gap Broadcast Network. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And may Allah continue to bless you. All praises due to Allah. So until next week, same time, same station, we look forward to seeing you on Closing the Gap broadcast, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Thank you. And thank you again, Sister Charlene, for stepping in and filling the co-host part. I'm sure we'll be calling on you because I have to give these hard workers some time off. I'm the only one that doesn't take time off unless I absolutely have to.
That's right.
And I really gotta thank my co-hosts and my production techs and production managers. I mean, they work behind the scenes, but they really, and the co-hosts, of course, are up front.
Come on, man.
Believe it or not, we are all working on a volunteer basis.
Come on now, that'll change.
And I applaud the charitable heart of every one of us. However, we can't grow like that.
Right. That's what we're talking about. Come on.
And this is why we solicit, one of the reasons why we solicit donations. They are worthy of being compensated.
That's right.
And I certainly would like to compensate all who are a part of this broadcast.
That's right.
So send your donations in. All praises to Allah.
Praise be to Allah.
Thank you once again, and may Allah bless you. We'll see you next week, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
God's peace. God's peace in 2024.
That's right. And happy Savior's Day.
There you go.
Savior's
Happy Savior's Day. Peace.